Senator Dino Melaye's recall files may have gathered dust in the past months, but a court sitting in Abuja says it's time to clean them and resume the process earlier suspended. And the senator reacts to the news, saying it is a mere persecution from his political enemies who want him out of the Senate by all means. Is anyone after the senator's seat at the Senate? He says this too shall pass. Many thanks for joining in, everyone. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Melaye in Lagos. Let's bring you up to speed on other political stories we are monitoring at this time. Well, President Muhammadu Buhari received the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria today at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Among those hosted by the President are the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sahad Abubakar, the Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido, and others. The President held the meeting, which was attended by his Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, at the State House. And so talking stories from the presidency, the federal government has finalized plans to concession the Lagos and Abuja airports, and that's according to the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Professor Osinbajo asks entrepreneurs to remain focused and patient as the process requiring a change might be slow. Now, quickly, everyone, let's get together. Get in front of your television set and let's get talking our major story of the day. In July this year, a court ordered the suspension of the recall process of Senator Dino Melaye. You know him, Senator Dino Melaye, yes, of Kogi State. Well, the court asked the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and Melaye to maintain status quo in the suit the senator filed. Melaye, through his lawyer, Mike Ozakome, filed the suit after some of his constituents initiated his recall process from the Senate. Today, an Abuja Federal High Court dismissed the application seeking to nullify that process. That means the suspended process has been reactivated. Obviously, it is not a good news for the embattled senator who believes his political enemies are working hard to unseat him at the Senate. And this is his immediate reaction. He said, and I quote, he said, in the face of obvious persecution, an appealable judgment of the Federal High Court Abuja today, he said that the case, the presence of the Kogi State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in court today over a matter that Kogi State is not joined as the party shows the clear collaborative efforts of INEC and Kogi State government. Well, as much as we've been tracking these stories for you on the recall process of Senator Dino Melaye, these are some of the figures that you need to know. Take a look at them. Those calling for Senator Melaye's recall have 52.3% already. And that 52.3% of in the petition represent 188,588 of the 360,098 registered voters in the senatorial district. 188,588 signed the petition for the recall, but 79,268 voted in the election. Senator Melaye polled only 41,120 votes, while his closest opponent at the poll at that time, Senator Smart Adeyemi, who ran on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, at that time, but he's now a member of the APC, had 38,148 votes. Also, let us show you INEC's initial timetable just before the court ordered the suspension of the process. Section 69 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended, sets a limit of 90 days from the date of the presentation of the petition for the exercise to be completed. The umpire is now expected to take off where it left off, so you can see how they need to go about the exercise. Now to the conversation now. I have joining me here in the studio is the National Commissioner of INEC, Prince Solomon Shoyabi. Thank you so much for joining us on the program tonight.
Thank you very much.
You did say earlier from the information that the Commission sent to Channels Television that this process, according to what the court said, that the INEC will restart this exercise. Where exactly are you starting from?
Yes, we're starting from where we stopped. I want to remind us all that it was the Commission that actually went to the court to challenge, to set aside the order stopping us from conducting this election over a period which will exceed the 90 days. But luckily for us today, the court gave an order at least asking us to continue from where we stopped. What the judgment means to us, in spite of the fact that we have not gotten the certified true copy, is that in real and legal terms, what we have done so far has just lapsed for 16 days. Because according to the pronouncement today, the time was frozen for us to the time when the order was given on July 60. And when we look at that, if we look carefully, the petition was submitted on the 21st of June. To the 6th of July, we add 16 days. It means we have a fresh 74 days starting from today to conclude the exercise from where we stopped. And we actually stopped with the notification of with the pasting of the notice of recall. That was where we stopped the exercise on the 6th day of July.
One of the things that the court said today was that you should grant Senator Melaye the permission to look at the petitions and give him a copy in 2 weeks. What is the implication of that?
Well, it's simply, I mean, it's in that's the principle of fairness and fair play and transparency, which the Commission actually believes in. We will abide by every letter of the judgment. The court says we should give him a copy of the petition in a period of not less than 2 weeks for him to study the petition. We'll comply with this. We'll take everything into consideration before we come up with a new timetable, taking into cognizance every break that we have had and every factor that has been thrown in now with this new judgment. So we'll come out as a commission very soon with the new timetable, but we'll comply by according the Senator Melaye a copy of the petition and a copy of the signatories.
Are you going to wait for him? Because one of the fears in the suit filed by him is the authenticity of some of the signatories and the signatures in the petition. Are you going to give him the opportunity to study him, the petitions and the signatures before you go ahead?
The recall process has legal steps. That's what we are going to rely on. As you are aware, we have issued a timetable. The first step is to verify. We have a verification exercise. That exactly is to verify the genuineness of the signatories or otherwise. And the second leg of it is a referendum if there is need for it. So giving him a copy of the petition is just compliance. It's just in compliance with the court order. We want to give the two sides of the divide. We want to give them fair. We want to be fair to them in carrying out our constitutional duties. We accord them the copies, as the court said, and meanwhile, the constitutional duty of actually going for the recall, as entrenched on us by the Constitution, will be carried out where we stopped. As we said earlier on, all we just did was that we were in a sleeper mode. We have just been energized to go on with the recall process according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
You did tell us on Channels Television that it will cost INEC about 1 billion Nigerian naira to conclude a recall process, all things being equal. Has the Commission gotten that money to go through this exercise, because it was not captured in the 2017 budget?
Well, let me say this and say it categorically. When I gave the figure, we are talking about a successful recall exercise because this will entail 3 different types of elections. The first one is the verification exercise, which is akin to a senatorial election. The other one will be a referendum. And then the third one will be filling the vacancy again. So those 3 elections, when we amass it together, as I told you, we are really serious about it. It's going to be about ₦1 billion. Now, talking about the budget, we have budget for what we call by-elections and recall. We pull them together, and referendum. The 2 are together. We'll look at it critically, and then if there are gaps, we'll have to go back to the National Assembly to fill in these funding gaps for us.